we had an opportunity to go third, and in typical West Ham style, we messed up. Every time, for as long as I can remember, when you think there's an opportunity, whether it been last season when we're thinking, yeah, we can go 7th, we can be in European places, every single time that moment comes and you think, right, this is it. We only have to win this game because the other results around us haven't been great or whatever. Typical West Ham, we mess it up. And yesterday was another example of that. Not that I'm bothered about going third, because at the end of the day, we're not a third place team. I'm not deluded enough just because we've had some good results to believe that we are at that level. I'd said in a few video a couple of weeks ago that if we're going to be challenging for European places, this is probably the time, because other teams around us aren't playing as well. But obviously, at home to Crystal Palace, and I mean they're having a good season, you've got to be expecting 3 points, or at least a point. So, you know, I was kind of feeling when it was 1-1, I was going to be a bit gutted by that, but thought we'd take point to point. But to lose it is really gutting. So, the game. Other than Fabianski obviously being out, I would say that was a strong side, and there would be no reason why we couldn't perform like we performed against Norwich, because that was fantastic football. So yeah, team. You know, you look at it, you think, good team. But we looked a little bit lost. We have no tempo, no urgency, and I just think we actually seem to constantly overplay when we don't need to. We don't do the simple things. Obviously, I've said real positive things about Haller, and I still stand by that. But the problem is he's really isolated up front on his own, and no one seems to anticipate the fact that, you know, his hold-up play is fantastic to watch. We've not had a player like that for a long time, but no other players seem to anticipate that he's going to be able to do that and move ahead. So he's just isolated, probably becoming frustrated. I wouldn't blame him. And I don't expect us to start with 2 up front, but I do think that Pellegrini maybe should have thought about bringing on Ajeti in that second half, like later on. Yes, he hasn't shown much in the cup games, but, you know, why do we buy him? You know, got rid of Hernandez. He's the only option we've got on the bench. I feel like you're 2-1 down to Palace. Just bring him on at that. I mean, really, 1-1, bring him on. Because I was looking to win that game. I would have liked to have thought that Pellegrini was too. So, yeah, you know, it's all great having that fantastic hold-up play by Haller, but for what? You know, unless anyone's going to actually be up there with him, it's all a waste of time. Yeah, so the game was a little bit frustrating to watch. I don't think we played terrible, but average. And probably that's what we are. Realistically, we're an average team that's got some above average players, but consistently performing, it's just not happening. But the first bit of fantastic football that we played with a bit of tempo and a bit of urgency and creativity, and the passing was just amazing. It was so good to see. And I was like, this is it? Yes. And women have scored. Fantastic goal. That build-up play was incredible. And we were just getting on top, and then Rice gives away that penalty. And for me, that just, you can't do those things. And frustrating for him. I never criticise Rice because I think he's fantastic. But it was a penalty, and they would have scored. And then I feel, again, it's just a little bit flat. No one was terrible, but Crystal Palace weren't great. No, do you know what I mean? It just looked like 2 average sides. But if we're the home team, we've got to be doing better than that. And yeah, then the second goal and the VAR, you know, that was really tight. And whether you think, I mean, I've seen the picture, and you could say that it's really harsh, but at the end of the day, those have been given, and they got the second goal. And we didn't take our chances, and I think that's the difference between the two sides. You know, it's all well and good having these players that can play lovely football, but unless you take your chances, we'll be the same old West Ham we always are. A player that I think would have been brilliant yesterday, and it's a shame, is Antonio. I feel like Antonio would have been perfect for that game. Maybe not starting necessarily, but he'd have brought, his sheer strength is such a quality. And I think he may have changed that game. So the news that he's potentially coming back before, I don't know what the timeline was now, but there's rumours that he's actually ahead of what they were expecting. So fingers crossed that's true, and fingers crossed same with Fabianski, that actually maybe it's going to be a little less time out than what was first said, about 3 months. Yeah, so the way I describe that game is average, and really we probably are quite average. We probably got carried away, like I said, with the league position. But at the end of the day, we drew to Brighton, and yes, I know they beat Tottenham. That's always good, isn't it? Obviously, we drew to Villa, we drew to Bournemouth, and now we've lost to Crystal Palace. But let's not panic, because at the end of the day, we were unbeaten till yesterday from the first game of the season, and that was Man City. And we really, if you're honest, never expected to get anything from that. So hopefully, international break, have a bit of time away. Obviously Rice is playing for England. Hopefully a little break away, they'll come back a bit more refreshed and ready to go again, and then hopefully move up that table rather than slowly moving down to mid-table, because we really don't want that. People said about the Oxford game that we can't field our strongest 11 because the league. Now, like I've said loads of times, I'm kind of someone that thinks that you should field your strongest 11. A team like West Ham should, because that's what we're going for, surely a cup. Maybe not strongest 11, but a strong side. You're one of your strongest sides possible. Everyone's like, no, but the league, you've got to be going for it. But if you can't be getting at least a point at home to Palace, I can't. That's where I get confused. If I was thinking we're going all out, and doing fantastic in the league, then maybe you could kind of forgive that slightly. I mean, I wouldn't. I would always prioritise the cup, but I get that the money is in the league positions and not cups. But you can kind of forgive that. But you sort of think, yes. I mean, I'm not criticising the points Bournemouth, because that actually is a team that we struggle against. But 1 point in them against Bournemouth and Crystal Palace probably isn't good enough, and even more reason why we should have gone all out against Oxford instead of losing 4-0. So let me know what you think. Am I being a little bit harsh? I think I probably am, to be honest. I think I'm probably feeling a little bit negative, because at the end of the day, we are West Ham. We know that. I'm used to seeing us lose. It's no different. My whole life I've seen them win a few games, you get carried away, and then the next minute you're losing to teams that you would expect to be beating comfortably. Same old West Ham. But let me know what positives you saw from yesterday, because I suppose I haven't really focused on many positives. I'm being really negative and I hate that. But like I said, nothing terrible. I don't think anyone was shocking. I know some people said that Anderson was really bad. Yes, he wasn't great, but I don't think anyone was great. If I'm being honest, like I said, average. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like and comment, and follow me on Twitter @Flump9. Come on, you